Oh.
Oh no. Man. Okay. I know I was being a drama queen with that edit, but by now all of us have seen the worst fails and falls and bails and just straight up destruction that can happen to a human being on a skateboard. And it's not pretty, doesn't feel good, and often it will leave you with an injury if you fall wrong skateboarding. So I decided to make this video to help teach you how to fall and to avoid getting hurt. That's the whole premise of this video, and while I am telling you all these things, they're only as useful as how you practice them. So today we'll be going over fall evasion theory, we'll be going over the 5 rules of falling, and then lastly I'll be teaching you some techniques to help you evade getting hurt. Fall damage evasion theory is simple. Basically, if you take all the damage in one point rather than spread out along your body, then it's going to hurt. Often that's where your biggest injuries are going to come from. For example, if you were to drop a sheet of paper on the ground, it would probably gently fall to the ground and maybe even slide across it. If you were to crumple it up and then drop it, chances are that that paper is going to make a loud thud and it will hit on a single point and likely bounce. So the idea behind this theory is whenever you fall, you want to fall along your entire body and spreading out the damage through as many parts as possible so that they all take virtually 0. Whereas if you were to fall and just try and catch yourself with your arm stuck out like this, you would risk breaking it. So that's the idea behind fall damage evasion theory. So the 5 rules of falling basically are just some things to keep in mind whenever you are falling. And I know that it happens in an instant, but having these 5 things practice and memorize and just something to consider as you're falling are things that will help you naturally fall the correct way. So we're going to start with number 1. Number 1 is do not tense up. If you tense up, then oftentimes what will happen is you'll create more damage to yourself than if you would have just relaxed throughout the fall. Chances are if you relax in the fall, you're going to be able to absorb the damage equally around your body instead of in any one single point. Imagine that you were in a car crash and you were asleep, or if you were awake. Which would you prefer? You probably would prefer to be asleep because you've heard the stories of people who were asleep during a car crash, survived it, and took virtually no injuries. Whereas the person who was awake and knew what was going on clenched the wheel and locked their arms and tensed their muscles, and they ended up with tons of injuries. So do not tense up. That's number 1. Number 2 is do not lock up. Do not lock any joints whenever you're falling. If you lock your elbow out or you lock your knees or any part of your body while you're falling, that is where you are going to get injured. That's where you're going to end up twisting or breaking or spraining something from taking all the impact. If you catch yourself in a locked position, you're going to take all the impact and it's going to radiate. And wherever the weakest point on your body is, that's where you're going to get hurt. So do not lock up. So the third one is to roll with speed. So typically if you're falling very fast, then you're going to need to roll out of it. The roll is going to help you move as much of that damage along a majority of your body than just one point. So typically you're going to be doing these rolls to get out of, harm's way whenever you have a lot of speed. Whenever you have a lot of speed, that's where you're going to need to roll. So number 4 is to fall with intention. When you fall with intention, that means that you are aware that you're about to eat shit. So in order to avoid taking damage, you're going to decide where your points of contact are going to be. Are you going to try and establish contact early with your hand, with your foot, with your knee? Where is it? And you're going to control the fall as best you can. I know oftentimes this is not the best case scenario whenever you're coming down, it just happens so fast. But if you can give yourself just a little bit of control over the fall by making contact early, then when you fall with intention, you're likely to save yourself from a really bad fall. Oftentimes, you'll see skateboarders slide and slap their hands down and push themselves out of the fall and back onto their feet. And if that works, it works. Just fall with intention. The last one is number 5, and probably the most crucial one of all these rules. If you are falling, tuck your chin. If you know you're going down, you're going backwards, and there's no way that you can catch yourself, go ahead and bring your chin. Go ahead and bring that chin down, tilt that head, and what that's gonna do is if you're falling backwards, it might be the couple of inches you need to save yourself from a concussion, like I did. So I was falling on this handrail, the board slipped out from under me, and I fell back, and there's nothing I could catch my arms on or feet on. It was just straight rail to the back. The only thing that saved me was the fact that I tucked my chin at the last second, and it made it to where my head didn't ricochet off the rail. So those are the 5 rules of falling. Make sure to incorporate them and remember them and practice them and think about them whenever you're going to skate. So now I'm gonna go over the techniques, the falls, and the rolls that you're gonna need to practice in order to avoid taking any damage to your body whenever you do fall, to avoid getting injured. So these techniques are derived from a Japanese martial arts style called Yamashita Akiburu Ryu, which is basically like samurai stuff. So essentially these rolls and falls are meant to be done in a fluid motion so that you don't take any injury to yourself while doing it. So to demonstrate these, we're gonna go find a soft piece of land to go roll around on for a little bit. So we found somewhere soft to roll around. We're gonna be practicing all these techniques in the grass because it is hard to learn these on concrete first because that's really trial by fire, and that's not necessary. Because what you should do is practice these until they're comfortable, until you're confident, until they're instinct. And the only way you're gonna get that done is by doing it somewhere safe. So patch of grass, some soft mats, whatever you got, that's where you need to start. So the first thing I'm gonna teach you is the backwards fall, and then I will teach you how to do the backwards roll. The backwards fall is going to be the easiest one to learn because the steps are very simple. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate them. So for the backwards fall, you're gonna simply go down to one knee with your toes pointing away from you, and you're gonna go and let your butt make contact with the ground, and quickly you're gonna let your back roll to the point to where your hands are gonna slap the ground, and you're gonna bounce back up. So that's the steps very slowly, and I'll demonstrate it again from the side. All right, now you gotta imagine you're skateboarding and you're looping off your skateboard, and so that's why you might need this technique. Now, chances are you might not be expecting that fall, and so it could be coming at you rather quickly. So instead of the fall, you're gonna try and do the roll. So the roll is simple, and it just has 1 or 2 more steps. So to do the backwards roll, you're gonna remember to tuck your chin first, and you're gonna let your momentum carry your body over the roll. I'm sure, like as a kid, when you were rolling around the carpet, you mastered this technique. You just gotta remember how to do it. So, hands up, you're gonna go down to one knee, and as you come down to your butt, you're gonna let the momentum carry your legs over. Like that. I'll give you a side view look at it. And then if you have a lot of speed, it's probably gonna look like this. At least that's the most speed I can demonstrate from the ground. So as long as you remember to allow the damage to go from up your leg, over your shoulder, and as you come back over, protect your face. You never know where that skateboard's gonna be. And these techniques are gonna help you to absorb that damage without getting hurt. So that's the backwards fall and the backwards roll. So now I'm gonna teach you how to do the side roll. The side roll has similar steps. So you're going to take your stance as if you're on your skateboard, and you're gonna go down to one knee, and you're gonna go ahead and bring your arm out, and you're gonna turn your palm towards you, and you're gonna roll along your arm out your other shoulder and out your hip to the other side. So it's gonna look like this. And then same for the other direction. So if you're regular, you're probably gonna be falling out this way. Okay, so the chances are that you're gonna need this technique when you're traveling really fast and then unexpectedly you hit a pebble, or when you're coming down a stair set and you're just cruising really fast. A lot of times when you're in that scenario, both your feet are gonna be going in perpendicular and your shoulders are gonna be parallel with where you're jumping or where you're riding, meaning that as you fall, you're gonna need this technique really quickly. So best thing to do is spot somewhere to throw your arm out first, let your arm and shoulder take some of the damage, spread it out along the back and out your other arm. So that is how to do the side roll. Okay, so the last one is gonna be the forward roll. And the forward roll is going to be the one that people are going to probably have the most difficult time with. It's not that hard, but to some people it's a little scary when you see the ground coming towards your face really fast. But you need to practice this because it's better to have practiced it and know what you're doing and not get hurt than not practice it at all and then really face plant because you have no idea how to do a forward roll. So the forward roll is going to be simple. Go ahead and take your stance as if you're skateboarding, and you're gonna send your arm ahead of you and you're trying to establish contact with the ground as early as possible. So you're gonna have your palm facing back towards you and you're gonna reach out ahead of you and you're gonna make contact. Then you're gonna roll along your arm to your shoulder and you're gonna go down your back and out your hip. And so it's going to look like this. And so this is from the side view what it looks like. So as you're doing this, the first step, as always, tuck your head first, tuck your chin in, and you're gonna allow your arm to make contact first, and you're going to flow throughout this movement. And you want to flow so that at no point all the damage is hitting your shoulder or your hip or any part of your arm or back or body. It's supposed to absorb it as a fluid motion. Okay, so I just finished demonstrating how to do the falls and the rolls, and I want you to take this and practice this so that it becomes second nature. Not just second nature, it needs to be your instinct, because chances are you're not going to be falling in a controlled environment like this, and worst of all, it's going to be on concrete, solid concrete. So you need to master this to the point to where you don't feel it whenever you do have to inevitably take it to the concrete from a fall. Because chances are, if you're going to be skateboarding for a while, something's coming for you. It might be a pebble, it might be just a gnarly slam, but with these techniques, you can hopefully at least tuck your chin, start to roll, and make it to where the damage you take is minimal. So for those of you who are just now beginning your journey in skateboarding, this is a great video to start with because you are going to fall while skateboarding. It's inevitable, but you can avoid getting injured by following the tips and tricks that I've given you in this video. So make sure to subscribe because I post new videos every Saturday. I love skateboarding, and I'll either be showing you somewhere new that I'm skateboarding, or I might be giving you some more tips and tricks like this. We'll see you in the next video. Peace. Fuck these.